Welcome to the Bourbon Friday Show. I'm your host, Nick Niehaus, and today I'm going to be interviewing Rebecca Bryan Pan, who is the CEO and founder of Covo, which is also our host. So thank you, first of all, for joining us today. Also, thank you for hosting us every single week. We really appreciate that.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I love having you here. I was telling Nick earlier that I had like a secret desire for Bourbon Friday to always be at Covo, and I'm so excited that you're here now.
Yeah, no, it really worked out, and obviously we got quite a crowd here already today, so that's good to see. So why don't we start out with just simple stuff? Tell us a little about what Covo is, kind of what it means, and how it got started.
Yeah, Covo stands for Collective Voice.
Okay.
And I've been in co-working for a long time. Covo St. Louis is my 11th co-working space that I've opened.
Okay.
And every time I've opened a new space, I've kind of leveled up what people can expect and the level of service and the kind of amenities. So with Covo, we've felt like, from the perspective of Collective Voice, a lot of the spaces that I've created were full of white dudes. Yeah, frankly.
Of course. Bunch of me's, right?
Bunch of yous.
Yeah.
It's kind of the stereotypical co-working space number.
Yeah, bunch of bros, right?
A bunch of bros,
sure.
A lot of coders, a lot of tech, and I didn't see a lot of me, and I certainly didn't see a lot of people of color.
Sure.
And the playing field is just not as level as it should be. So we felt like with Covo and the concept of Collective Voice, we could use Covo as a platform to really support the whole spectrum of entrepreneurs.
It's great, yeah.
And that's been really awesome. We also have a bar, which is unlike most co-working spaces.
Sure.
And have kind of created this like retail floor, open to the public, everybody is welcome sort of environment, which is also unusual for co-working. We have an hourly drop-in option, so people don't even need to be members. They can just if you need to be somewhere in between meetings or just drop down for taking calls or using Wi-Fi for an hour.
Sure.
So we try to make it really easy and really accessible. And that's
awesome.
That's the idea.
Yeah, I think one of the things I like so much about this place is that it does feel so open. I think a lot of co-working spaces, there's always kind of that person at the front desk and, are you a member and do you have a pass and you got to pay to be in here? Versus here, there's a cafe, there's a bar in the evening. I mean, there's definitely kind of a come and go as you need to kind of feeling. So it's a lot more welcoming, I feel, than a lot of other co-working spaces.
Good. That's what we're trying to do.
So I want to talk about the name a little bit. And I would assume that kind of came from the mission, but how did you come up with the name Covo? Because I think most people, don't realize, obviously, it means something beyond just the letters.
We wanted something that the co-working space that I started first is called Next Space. Okay. And that name is not very extensible.
Sure.
It's very space dependent.
Okay.
Same with WeWork. WeWork is very much we work.
Yeah.
So when we were thinking of the name for Covo, we wanted something that would be a cool bar, would be a cool co-working space, would be a cool residence, that it would be really extensible, but also have that for co-working.
Sure.
And be something new that we could kind of create a brand around.
Yeah, it's awesome. Gives you a lot of growth opportunity, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So this is actually your second location, right? So you started in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you decide on St. Louis as your second stop?
That is the question I get more than any other
sure,
question.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, do you have family there? Are you from there?
Sure.
No. Do you have family there? I have a little bit of family here.
Okay.
But that is not why we're here. We did a nationwide search and we were looking for a city that was different than San Francisco, because a lot of things work in San Francisco but it's an anomaly sort of city.
Okay.
So we wanted to prove that Covo works in all kinds of cities, not just that kind of anomaly that is San Francisco.
Okay.
And we wanted a city with a terrific startup scene, with great food, beverage, and coffee, and appreciation for those things, and discernment. We wanted to be downtown, where there were things going on and foot traffic. So we love being near the ballpark. We love being near the arch and just like all the stuff that's going on down here. There's a ton. People are like, oh, but downtown, it's dead. And we're like, no, it's not. We're there.
Not anymore, at least. Yeah,
we're
it's certainly
every day.
recovering.
It is amazing. You should come down. And we really wanted to buy our building.
Okay.
And there was good real estate value here. And we felt like we could get in on kind of the ground floor of the revitalization that's happening downtown. Okay. And be a part of it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So kind of be a part of the process, and obviously it's just continuing to improve around here, it seems. Yeah. And so for those of our viewers that don't know where you're located, I think it would be helpful. We're about, 3 or 4 blocks from Busch Stadium? We're about like 2 blocks from the Arch Grounds, right? So we're really in the heart of things right here.
We're a block from the Arch Grounds.
Okay.
We are 3 blocks from the convention center. We're 3 blocks from the stadium. We're right near the old courthouse. What else is around here? There's a bread co, but that's not going to put us on the map uniquely. Sure.
Well, I know one thing I wanted to ask you about is the building in particular, because if I'm not mistaken, this used to be a bank at one point, right? Yeah, so tell us a little about the history of this place.
Oh my God, this building has the most amazing history.
Yeah.
Built in 1896, it's a gorgeous old bank building. It was the primary funder of the World's Fair in 1904.
Really? Okay, that's cool.
While it was a bank, there was a full-on bank robbery, and it's got a whole sordid history of underground activity, and then we saw it as this kind of center of innovation for the World's Fair in 1904, and now again in 2018, 2019.
This kind of resurgence of the city that's been here for 250 plus years, right? Yeah, that's awesome. So I want to ask you a specific question about, you're a startup, obviously, right? So this is the second location, still continuing to grow as a business. Side note quickly, I think you mentioned that you're at 100% capacity at this point here at this location.
Yeah, our private offices are at 100% occupancy.
Wow. Well, congratulations. That's a huge milestone. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
That's awesome. So as you are building your own startup, and then you're also this place where a bunch of other people are also building their own startups, and then beyond that, you have this mission of supporting people that are overlooked more often than not. How does that all work out? I mean, how do you balance the idea of I'm building my own business and focusing on my own growth while also facilitating the growth of other businesses?
I think it all comes down to having a phenomenal team that love people and love connecting people and love thinking about ways to connect people. Because we have Lyft is here, and other companies that you've heard of, but then also tons of startups that you've never heard of that are the next Square, and then just phenomenal companies that are doing amazing things, and being able to connect them to each other. It's so rewarding. And the just independent freelancers and people that don't have access to those sorts of companies and those sorts of entrepreneurs, and making those connections, and just there's something to be learned and gained from every interaction.
Sure.
And helping foster that and facilitate that, and make sure, of course, people have fast internet and they're comfortable and the Wi-Fi is stable and
all the basics,
coffee is flowing, and all the basics. We have phone rooms that are sound isolated.
Oh wow, okay.
All the stuff that we think is really important for people.
I believe you have a nap room here, if I'm not mistaken.
I just spent some time in our nap room.
Oh yeah?
Before the show.
Getting ready, meditating a little, getting ready for the show. I like it. So I wanted to ask you a little bit more about what it's like to run a business with 2 locations that are that far apart from each other. So I think for a lot of startups, obviously, a lot of businesses in general have kind of a long-term vision of I want to grow, I want to be in other cities. But I would imagine, especially the first time you expand beyond your home, that can be quite challenging. So what is it like to run a business with locations that far apart?
It is challenging. My co-founder, Dan Bryan, is my brother as well.
Okay.
He moved out here for a year, to kind of get everything started, get everything moving. And then I am now here 25 to 50% of my time every month, which is, it's a challenge. My family and my 3-year-old are in San Francisco, but it's also so amazing. Yeah. And I love being here, and I love St. Louis. So it's like I kind of live a double life.
Sure, I bet, yeah.
But being able to be in both environments I don't know, it keeps me, when people are in San Francisco, they'll start complaining if it's like below 50 degrees.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, you don't know what cold is. And when I'm here, people are, there's other things that people gripe about that I'm like, you don't know what expensive means.
Sure.
So it kind of, I think it keeps me a little bit more grounded than I might otherwise be. Plus, I'm never keeps me real with flight delays and all the stuff that logistically makes it possible.
Sure.
So I don't know. I really like it.
Okay, good. Well, you enjoy kind of the back and forth of it. Yeah. I was in San Francisco myself 2 years ago, and I was there for the record-breaking high temperature. It was like over 100 degrees, and there are no air conditioners or fans in San Francisco.
God.
So
Covo has air conditioning.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
And
that's good.
We put out SOS to everyone on social media. We're like, if you need, and we've also had fires with terrible air. We have good air. We have a lot of air filters.
Okay.
So several times we put out this SOS of come to Covo. You'll be comfortable here.
That's nice. Yeah. Open your doors for everybody.
My home doesn't have air conditioning though.
Most of the houses don't have any sort of AC at all out there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was intense.
I had everybody warning me to bring a jacket, and I got there, and I'm like, oh yeah, I really need a jacket right now, But it was beautiful. Within a day or two, it was like 70 degrees the rest of the trip. So then I understood it for sure. So I want to ask you one more question before we bring Eric on in a minute. Kind of about what is going on with co-working in general, right? Because everybody's heard of WeWork, and obviously they're worth billions and billions of dollars now, and growing like crazy, but a lot of other co-working spaces are also growing substantially. So, is this kind of the future of work? These kind of shared spaces where people from a bunch of different businesses are coming together. Where do you see this heading in the future?
Yeah, I go to a lot of conferences. I'm heading to one in Denver tomorrow about co-working and the future of work. And this is absolutely the future. A lot of experts that have now given co-working a hard look feel like flex space, which is what co-working is, will be 40% of all commercial real estate by 2030.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
The idea that you're going to know where your business is going to be in 3 years and be able to get a lease that makes sense as you grow or contract, it's just a different world than it was when you would take out your own lease and put a personal guarantee on it and just and either take more space to grow into or take less space and outgrow it. It's just the idea of flexibility and not having to be locked in that's the world we live in now.
Sure.
So having real estate and office space that meets that need, and that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And has a bar. Covo's a little bit ahead of the curve just because I've been in the industry for so long.
Sure.
But the kind of multi-use space that we've created where there's a bar, there's drop-in, there's monthly. You can also lock in your rate for long-term if you commit.
Oh, really? Okay.
An event space,
everything you need. Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that I was reading that a lot of the jobs in general are kind of shifting towards freelance. Where people, instead of working for one company, are working for more like 5, but only part here, part there.
Yeah.
So obviously that fits really well with the model here. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So before we switch over to the next segment here, I do want to make sure we ask, how does somebody apply to be a member here at Covo?
So on our website, stl.hellocovo.com,
Okay.
you can book a tour or sign up for a Covo Day, which is a full day of free co-working,
Okay.
free coffee and tea, and a cocktail.
Oh, okay. It's the full package,
full
yeah.
experience.
Very cool.
That we call a Covo Day. And yeah, we'd love for folks to come here and try us out.
Very cool. All right. Well, sounds great. Well, thank you, obviously, for joining us today. We have a couple minutes left, so we are now going to invite Eric onto the show. He is the founder of Bourbon Friday, as I'm sure you know, and he's going to tell us what we are drinking today.
Yes. So this is Amador Double Barrel.
Okay.
And the reason I brought this on today is because this starts out in Kentucky, but they go and finish it in Napa Valley barrels in Napa Valley in St. Helena, California. And I kind of think, for myself, and I think for you as well, you start somewhere, but to actually become what you are and what you want to be, you have to go somewhere else. And to be able to reach a full potential of what is possible. So I thought that was kind of appropriate for you. The other weird thing I learned from this brand is, weirdly, Kentucky, where this comes from, St. Louis, and San Francisco are all basically on the same latitude line.
Really?
It's a weird fact.
Really?
Yeah. Within about 50 miles of that line.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Had no idea.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So
Way to get deep.
I always do.
So the double barrel, is that because they put it in the wine
Exactly.
barrels?
So all bourbon has to be in new oak barrels.
Yeah.
But a lot of what is happening now is a lot of the finishing. That's one of the other things you can do for it still to be called bourbon. The second barrel is a Napa Valley wine barrel.
Gotcha. Very cool. All right. Well, we have about 2 minutes left. We got some events. I know one's coming up next Monday, obviously.
I could probably just talk about that one.
Yeah.
But tomorrow night, there's the Sling Health Demo Day. This is a culminating event. It's their flagship event for their entire incubator. They have a keynote speaker. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name of that person, but you should go check it out. Then always don't forget Arch Grants applications due the 15th.
Yep.
And then, of course, on April 15th, we've been talking about it. It's finally here. And I think we're all glad it's here.
Yeah.
Is EQ Leadership Labs. And that is over at Union Station. We're all kind of part of this event. In addition to that, we're having the after party here at Covo, Bourbon Friday Reserve. We've got signature cocktails. We'll have some little bites here for everybody. It should be a great event. It's the first time we're ever doing this event. Yeah. And then also, and that is part of MDMC, Midwest Digital Marketing Conference, which is the largest marketing conference in the Midwest. So you should also check out MDMC. And then also on Monday and Tuesday is the DevOps Midwest conference. It's at T-Rex. It's put on by Savvy Coders and Sketch Development. So if you're really kind of focused on development and operations, I could understand maybe you might not be interested in leadership or whatever. If you're really focused on coding, maybe you want to check that out. And then on Wednesday, April 17th, we have Startup Grind. This is fireside chat with Charlie Cooksey. It's going to be at ThriveCo in Clayton. She's the founder of WePower, and she's also the executive director of Inspire STL, and she's the interim executive director of Forward Through Ferguson. So she's a really interesting person. You should definitely go and see that. And then next Friday, we're here again at Covo for Bourbon Friday. We have James Forbes, the CEO and founder of Good Life Growing. And this is an urban farm development. And I believe they also have a retail store up there that is really trying to help with food insecurity in northern St. Louis. They're also an Arch Grants winner.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. Well, sounds like lots of good things going on. Looking forward to Leadership Labs. It's been a long time coming now.
Yes.
So. Well, as always, Eric, thank you for joining us. Rebecca, thank you for joining us today. And also, thank you for hosting us every single week.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we very much appreciate
I love having you guys here.
Good. Well, we're going to wrap things up here and get to the actual happy hour. As I said before, I'm Nick Niehaus, your host. I'd like to thank, EQ for streaming us as always. We're going to be doing some streaming at Leadership Labs and MDMC this week, so make sure to check that out throughout the week next week. And then, of course, thank you to my business partner, Vanessa Lobo at Connect Marketing, for producing our show every single week. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you again next Friday.
Hey, thanks for watching. We truly hope you enjoyed it. Please like and share this episode, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. To stay up to date, follow us on social. We are at Bourbon Fridays on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. See you next time.